Why you make jokes when you're uncomfortable? Someone looks at you and says, "I'm proud of you." You could say thank you. You could let the compliment land. Instead, you say, "Wow, your standards have really dropped." Everyone laughs. You laugh too. And just like that, the compliment disappears before you have to decide what it means to you. Maybe it happens during a serious conversation. Someone asks how you're really doing, and you give them a funny answer instead of an honest one. Maybe the room becomes quiet for slightly too long. Maybe someone says something vulnerable, and the moment suddenly feels heavier than you expected. Then, before you have time to think, you make a joke. The tension breaks. The room feels lighter. Everyone moves on. And later, in the car, in the shower, or while trying to fall asleep, you replay it. Why did I say that? Why at the exact moment? Something real was happening. Did my brain reach for a punchline? The answer isn't simply that you don't take things seriously. Sometimes it is exactly the opposite. Sometimes you make jokes because the moment feels too serious to face directly. Here's what may be happening. Your brain is constantly making predictions about the situations you enter. Is this safe? Do I know what is expected of me? Am I about to be judged? Could I say the wrong thing? Could someone see more of me than I intended to reveal? Most of this happens automatically, and emotional exposure can sometimes register as a kind of social danger, not because you're physically unsafe, because being sincere creates uncertainty. If you accept the compliment, what do you do with the attention? If you answer honestly, what will the other person think? If you allow the silence to continue, what might rise into it? A sincere moment cannot always be controlled, but a joke can. Humor changes the emotional temperature of a room almost immediately. People laugh, their faces soften, the tension moves. The conversation has somewhere else to go. In only a few seconds, you have transformed a moment you didn't know how to handle into one you understand. That is part of what makes humor such a powerful form of emotional regulation. The joke doesn't necessarily remove the feeling, but it creates distance from it. Instead of standing directly inside the discomfort, you can stand slightly outside it and comment on it. You are no longer only the person experiencing the awkward moment. You are also the person making the awkward moment entertaining, and that position can feel much safer. But humor doesn't serve the same purpose for everyone. Sometimes it is deflection. Something personal is getting too close. Redirect the conversation before anyone can go further. Sometimes it is connection. The room feels cold, formal, or unfamiliar, and a joke becomes your way of building a bridge. If people laugh, you know you can belong there. Sometimes it is a test. You say something slightly honest, but disguise it as humor. If they understand, you feel seen. If they don't, you can pretend you never meant it. And sometimes humor is protection. You make the joke about yourself before anyone else can. You point to the insecurity first. You turn it into something funny, and now nobody can surprise you with it. You already took control of the story. That is why some jokes feel strangely revealing. The joke isn't always hiding the truth. Sometimes the joke is the truth, just wearing a costume. Think about the person who always knows how to make a room lighter. The person who can rescue an awkward conversation, who knows when people are becoming tense before anyone else seems to notice. That ability may simply come from playfulness, intelligence, or creativity. Not every funny person is secretly hiding pain, but sometimes beneath that fluency, there is a long history of watching rooms carefully. A child notices that everyone relaxes when they say something funny. A teenager discovers that being entertaining makes social rejection less likely. Someone learns that if they make people laugh, they don't have to explain why they're uncomfortable. The moment passes, everyone feels better, and the brain remembers, that worked, so it uses humor again. Then again. Eventually the response becomes so fast that it no longer feels like a decision. You don't choose the joke simply arrives, usually before the feeling does. That doesn't mean something is wrong with you, it means you developed a strategy that was effective. Humor may have helped you connect, manage tension, earn acceptance, and survive moments that once felt overwhelming. The strategy works so well that your brain kept it available, even in situations where you may no longer need it. And this is where the difference matters. Sometimes humor makes space for a feeling. Two people laugh, the tension softens, and the difficult conversation becomes easier to continue. But sometimes humor replaces the feeling. Everyone laughs, and the conversation ends. The compliment never reaches you. The apology never gets answered. The vulnerable moment disappears. Before you can participate in it, you made the situation easier for everyone in the room, except perhaps yourself, because the feeling that humor interrupts doesn't always disappear. The compliment is still there. The sadness is still there. The question you avoided has not been answered. The joke bought you time, but it didn't necessarily give the feeling somewhere to go. So how can you tell whether humor is helping you or helping you escape? Notice what happens afterward. Do you feel connected or strangely distant? Did the joke help the conversation continue? Or did it make the conversation impossible? Are you glad you said it? Or do you replay it later, wishing you had allowed yourself to respond differently? The important question isn't, why am I always making jokes? It is, what was happening immediately before the joke? Were you being praised? Were you being asked to be honest? Did someone become emotional? Did the room become quiet? Were you afraid of disappointing someone? Were you suddenly receiving more attention than you knew how to hold? The moment before the joke often contains the answer. You don't have to stop being funny. Humor is not a flaw you need to correct. It can be generous. It can make pain bearable. It can connect people when ordinary language fails. But the next time you feel a joke forming, try waiting for 1 second, not long enough to make the moment unnatural, just long enough to notice what your humor is trying to change. Maybe you still make the joke, but maybe once in a while, you try something else first. Thank you. I don't know what to say. That made me nervous. I'm not ready to talk about that. Or even, I'm making a joke because this suddenly feels very real. You may discover that honesty doesn't always make the room less safe. Sometimes it makes the connection stronger. Sometimes the silence you were trying to rescue didn't need to be rescued. Sometimes the person in front of you was willing to stay, and sometimes the feeling your brain classified as danger was only a feeling, something uncomfortable certainly, but something you were capable of surviving without turning it into a performance. You are allowed to be funny. You are allowed to make difficult moments lighter, but you are also allowed to let something sincere reach you before you make everyone laugh, because you can make a room feel lighter without making yourself disappear from it. So, what feeling do you most often turn into a joke? Until next time, keep shifting your perspective. Subscribe for more Mind Shift.